Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hello.
Hey.
So I had this crazy thought. Let's get some old pictures of our family and have a discussion, talk about them. I thought it was really interesting when I asked you, I said, do you have any like hard copies of pictures? You know, something that it's printed out. I didn't even know the word for it. And you said, yeah, I remember I have a book. What do you call those books? Baby books. And you have, because you have 3 boys, 3 massive books in which
I actually have 3 each.
Each of you have 3 books.
All 3 of your boys have 3 baby books.
Yes.
So it wasn't hard to pull some photos.
No, not at all.
Were they in the attic?
No.
No.
In bed.
I know you guys keep a lot of stuff in the attic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, too much stuff.
Too much stuff. And so we have some photos. And so we just thought it'd be fun. First of all, this is fun for me just to talk about memories and growing up. I am the oldest, by the way, of the 3.
Yes.
Which we know the oldest is always the most liked and the most loved, and right? I did everything right, and you guys didn't know how to parent then, so there was no one to tell me who was wrong.
Right. We didn't know if you did anything wrong. We weren't sure.
There's a couple of these that I'm just going to start talking about. This one has a dog. We always had a dog growing up. I remember that. In fact, this was one of the Pomeranian.
No.
Poodle.
That's a poodle.
That's a poodle.
That was our first dog.
Muffin.
Yes.
Was her name.
Yeah.
No fruit attached to the muffin. Just
Muffin.
Just Muffin. And then we had Pomeranians. Those are the other dogs we had.
Yes.
And that was it. A poodle, and then
2 Pomeranians.
2 Pomeranians.
And then Sadie was later though.
Yeah.
Well, that was after I left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I left the house in '99, you guys had your youngest 2, my brothers, still living at home, and one of them brought Sadie.
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Always bringing dogs into the story. That guy. But yeah, I wasn't around that one. I love Christmas at home, by the way. Here's what I love about Christmas. You guys can tell me what you think. We had Christmas lights threw up on our house when we were younger.
Yes, we had started when I grew up. My parents always did Christmas lights, and so we got actually our first lights. I think were hand-me-downs from my parents. They were some pretty old style lights.
Is that why I took your Christmas lights one time? I literally got in trouble. Jody was upset at me because I took your old Christmas lights.
Yeah, I guess it's a family tradition
to take old Christmas lights. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our first, and then so. We've had them ever since, and there's been a couple of years I've said, why don't we not? Because everybody's gone, but...
You guys still do it. To this day, even my kids, they're like, Nani and Poppy's house is going to be lit up like an airport.
We love it.
Yeah.
So
a lot of different themes for Christmas. But it was a lot of lights. And make sure it's not white lights. We're not going...
No, this is colored. This is old time Christmas.
Right. So it took a long time to even do LEDs. We finally got some, but they're not the bright ones. You can't really tell.
And I didn't like those.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the super bright, so.
It's so funny. I remember Christmas. Christmas was a big deal. Obviously, Jesus was a big deal in our family. Those just go together because we celebrate Christ at Christmas time. But I remember growing up, going to church, and that was a big deal. I don't always say this, but thank you. Thank you for raising me in the church. We lived there. I was born in the nursery.
Right.
Miss Gadberry.
Oh, yeah. Miss Price.
Actually, Miss Price.
Miss Price and Miss Greenswaite.
There you go. They're the names.
I was actually pretty much born in the same church, and those same 2 nursery.
This is right. This was the church that you grew up in, that you were raised in.
They changed my diaper as well, and they were still there changing all.
Generational diaper changers.
Yes.
Come on, we need more of those. But I remember being there when the doors were open, and we were
there all the time.
We were there all the time. It was the time that it was Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday night visitation, Wednesday night, and then There was probably some other event that we were doing
We had
as well.
revivals probably.
Revivals.
Once every
That's
couple
right.
of months, week long.
That's right. And also, I mean, you guys served. You were with kids, which is neat. We'll come to this, but it's still what you do even at Cross Point.
Right. And then we went into youth.
That's right. You've been student ministry.
We went into youth when you boys started in the youth department.
Yeah, I remember. You guys both. Well, I think you had the guys, right? You were the Sunday school teacher. I remember that.
Went
Sunday
on
school.
a lot of trips.
Yeah. In this photo, I'm so glad you have this printout. This is a printout of Olin Mills, because Olin Mills came to the church, set up shop, and this was the family directories
Yes.
of our church. And this is it right here. The Shippey family of 92.
Yes.
Man.
That's how it all started.
And
Yes, I'm not sure who the man is in the photo.
yeah, well, listen, I was already going to talk about this guy right here. You're still rocking the stash, which I love, and it's a little bit different color now. But I want to talk about this hair in the back. This was not just a mullet.
No.
This was a perm mullet, which we went on to call a pullet.
Pull it. Yep.
A pullet.
And I actually put the perm in.
So for everyone going, how did your wife sign off on that? You're like, well, she did it.
That's right.
I did.
She's the one that did it. And speaking of, I mean, Mom,
I got a lot of big
listen,
hair.
you have a lot of big hair, but the way that you are particular in the look of your boys, can we just go there for a minute? I mean, the hair was perfect. The outfits were perfect. And obviously your husband just
went along with
and
it.
here's another picture right here that's great. It's his Easter, I think. And we are all, including your husband, wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, we went Navy that year.
The theme was Navy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Well, quick story. You were talking about how neat, and so your mom, especially when you were born, anything that got on your clothes, you could have a hair, and she would change you before we went anywhere. I mean, she wouldn't let you. And so we actually, your first trip, you were probably 4 years old to the beach.
Yeah.
And I went with a friend of mine from work, and he had a daughter about your age, and we went, and Mom carried you out. We put a blanket down. You got on the blanket, and then we said, let's go to the water. And you shook your head no, and
No.
you said, it's dirty.
Yeah.
You looked
Yeah.
at the sand
Thank
and
you.
thought that was
Thank
dirty.
you for making me high maintenance.
And so
This is basically what I'm hearing right now.
Yes, and so it took the little girl probably an hour to get you off the blanket. And,
It's crazy.
Once she got you off the blanket, you enjoyed it, but
Well,
it took a while.
Listen, it's always good to know what you can blame your parents for.
Right.
That would be one of them.
Fashion.
Yeah. Well, listen, speaking of fashion.
That's right.
I mean, I saw some photos where here I am in high school and I'm like on the stage and I'm showcasing an outfit. So listen, I like fashion. I do. Who did I get that from? I guess now I know this from you too.
Maybe so.
For the way that you dress me. How long did you dress me? I'm going to maybe be
We
embarrassed.
might not ought to say that. No.
Never mind. We don't want to know how long it
No,
was that
probably
you
took
laid
you
out
long.
my outfits. And if we
Dressed you a lot.
can I talk about
Dressing
food?
y'all like after
There's no food here, by the way. None of these pictures have food. I loved growing up and eating the meals that you prepared. You prepared
Especially on
meals
Sundays.
all the time. Sundays are it. The running joke, though, is when you prepared steaks for us. Can you talk about what you did as you prepared the steaks?
And I don't know why y'all all think that's so funny.
Well, say it. What did you do?
Cut all the fat off and cut it up in little bite-sized pieces. That's just how it was.
Listen. To this
And
day,
that-
no, I don't cut their steaks.
Oh, okay.
I don't cut their, and I
Well,
don't.
you could have said you did.
Well, and
to
I
make me feel a little better.
and I go medium rare. I don't know what
Oh.
you cooked them back then.
Probably,
Probably a little bit more well done.
yeah,
It was like beef jerky.
probably.
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to talk about sports. A lot of sports here. Not only did you guys bring all that into my life, but love playing sports, football, baseball. But I think more important, what I remember is, man, you guys were always there. And you coached. Did you love coaching, or did you just be honest?
Oh, I
did
did.
you just coach because you had boys that played sports?
I loved coaching. If I don't even know if you remember, after I coached you, not your team, but I coached you 1 year in football. And then you actually played 5 years of Little League because you started when you were so young.
Yeah.
And so I followed you. And after you left, I didn't coach for a year. And the guy actually called me, and I had nobody playing. And I went back and coached a year of Little League football when I had no kids. I just loved it.
Listen, I don't know who else out there is getting phone calls from Little Leagues when your kids aren't playing. But that was true. You did that. In fact, I don't know how old I was when that happened, but I remember going, wait, you're still coaching Little League? But no, you loved it. But I loved it. You were there at everything that I did, even through college. In fact, I know you couldn't make it to every away game because we were all over the place.
But we drove to quite a few. I remember
you did.
And your grandpa, my dad, drove and watched you in Dallas.
Yep.
One of your freshman year, going to watch you. And I think it was cold and rainy, and it was. But it was fun.
Yeah. I do want to get back to this. You were raised at a church that we grew up in, and then ultimately in 2007, I went on staff at Cross Point. And you guys decided to make the move for Cross Point to be your church home.
Yes.
Was that hard? Was that difficult? What was that like? Well, first of all, what's it like having a son in ministry?
Yeah, it's interesting because, Chris, your younger brother, was in a music ministry. He was in a traveling praise and worship band.
Yeah.
And so it's been a blessing. And, I think it wasn't really difficult. I felt like we did pray about it and just felt like we had worked in the youth for so long.
Yeah.
And we're still actually working in the youth. And so when you got that
I was the student pastor. That was my first job.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you had been working in it, and not that you didn't have great help, but we didn't really. And God just laid on our heart, hey, you've been doing this a long time.
Go help your son.
Go help your son. Start his ministry. And so that's what we felt led to do. And
help make the move easier.
Yep.
That's super cool. I just want to go here. We didn't talk about this. But in 2017, you guys rode with me for 10 years in ministry. And then I took you guys on a great date. It was the Texas Roadhouse. Do you remember this?
I'll never forget it.
You'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And Jody and I, we sat down and we said, hey, we believe the Lord's calling us to go to Boston. And we won't get into all the details of that. But man, I just thank you. You've always supported me. Even when you didn't agree with me.
Yeah, it was hard.
That
was a hard one.
Listen, if anybody, Mama Bear.
Yeah. But God knew that for me, and He showed me God's story after God's story.
Yeah.
The whole time y'all were there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that was awesome, and you guys never left Cross Point. Cross Point's been your home.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time.
Even after you,
Yeah. And not only that, all of our family. In fact, hand me this picture. I love this. You guys have, by the way, a huge family.
We're blessed with a huge family.
Kids, grandkids, and what's neat is what church family is this whole family a part of?
Cross Point.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Not many people have that.
And that's not to say anything other than it's just cool. It's cool to see what God has created and to have a church family like Cross Point that's been a part of our story for a really long time.
Yeah, not many people have. We walk into church on Sundays and I could have 20 kids run up and say, hi, Poppy and Nani.
Yeah.
Not many people have that. So it's really a blessing.
Well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for these photos. Thanks for pulling. I mean, we didn't even hit all of them. Maybe one more that I just want to throw out is that Jody has been a part of this family for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So here's some pictures of us. 1998.
Y'all were babies.
Yeah, I was a junior and she was a sophomore there. Just that we go back. We were babies.
She was part of the family way before y'all got married.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's some really funny stories about Jody being introduced in our family early on, but we're gonna save those. So we'll let everyone else ask Jody about those stories. I just more than anything just want to say thank you for for just always being with me in this journey of what God's been doing in my life. And what I've learned is that most of the things that God is using in people's lives are the seeds and the watering and the tilling of the soil from other people. And sometimes we don't know, sometimes we don't trace back maybe the significant people that have done that in our life. But it's just really neat for me to have both of you still here and knowing that you have been doing that in my life. And just regardless of what happens next, I know you're with me, and it's cool to say that I have a mom and dad that still has my back. And so I love you both, and thank you for creating this moment with me.
We're looking forward to the next 25 years.
Yeah,
That's
thank you,
right.
Mom.
That's right. Love you too, babe.
Yeah.